up, guys, and welcome back to my channel. In our first news, Merab's live reaction to the Peter Yan fight announcement quickly became a moment fans won't forget. Peyton Talbot was speaking as Merab appeared live on Ariel Helwani's show when the news broke. As the segment unfolded, Ariel received an update through his earpiece. With a quick smile, he said, "So this is very exciting, Merab. But as we sit here right now, breaking news, because Dana White just went on Instagram. They're telling me in my ear, and he just announced that you are the main event of UFC 323. The announcement hit Merab in real time. His eyes lit up and a big grin spread across his face. "Let's dance, my friend. Let's dance," he said with energy and pride. Ariel responded with excitement, saying, "Yeah, how do we do it? How do we do it?" The moment carried pure adrenaline. Merab stood tall, proudly declaring, "That's the champion of the world, UFC 323. Yeah, there he is," Ariel added. "That's the pride of Georgia, the pride of the bantamweight division." The fight was officially locked in for December 6th at T-Mobile Arena as the main event of UFC 323. It will mark Merab's fourth title defense in 2025, a rematch against Peter Yan, who previously lost in a close and heated battle. The co-main event is set to feature Pantoja taking on an explosive opponent, making this card even more stacked. Ariel, visibly hyped, wrapped the segment with a laugh. "Amazing. That was amazing. Wow." As the cameras rolled, Merab's energy said it all. A warrior ready for another war. Meanwhile, JDM is also set to return to action, adding another layer of excitement to a card that's shaping up to be unforgettable. And before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to help support the channel. Moving on to another news, Islam the chiropractor Makhachev is at it again, and this time it's got everyone talking. The former UFC lightweight champion was caught on camera adjusting a teammate's neck using a rear naked choke, all while preparing for JDM. The gym was filled with laughter as Islam got into position. Someone off camera shouted, "Do not put me to sleep." Another voice added, "Can you fix Chris's neck, please? He's had problems. Can you fix for him?" Islam calmly asked, "Which one? Which one?" They pointed, "This side." Without missing a beat, Islam tightened his grip. The room erupted in laughter as someone yelled, Yeah, put him to sleep, put him to sleep." A teammate, half laughing and half panicking, said, "Oh my God, he's so good, put him to sleep." Sleep, fade away, fade away, fade away, make it fade away. The playful chaos built as everyone joined in with shouts of "crazy" and "fade away." Another voice guided, "Yeah man, shift your neck to his elbow, the point of his elbow." The teammate quickly responded, No more, no more." Someone else yelled, "Hey, bring me water, right? Don't say give me water." But the panicked friend shouted, "Give me water. No, don't put him to sleep. Put me to sleep. Do not put me to sleep." The moment turned even funnier as the teammate, caught between laughter and mild fear, kept repeating, "Do not put me to sleep. No, do not put me to sleep." The room was buzzing. "Take the water," someone said, but the laughter didn't stop. "Do not put me to sleep. No, do not put me to sleep," he repeated as Islam adjusted his grip. Someone laughed and said, "Put them in the face." "Okay." Another replied, "No, do not put me to sleep." The teammate, now realizing it was all controlled, sighed in relief as a voice reassured him, "He's not choking you." The gym erupted with laughter again. Just another day of Islam showing off his trademark chiropractor moves and keeping the room entertained. Moving on to another news, Mateusz Gamrot has broken his silence following his tough loss to Charles Oliveira at UFC Rio. The lightweight contender shared a heartfelt message on Instagram, reflecting on the experience with respect and determination. "It was a huge honor to share the octagon with you, Charles. Thank you, Brazil, for the whole week and the special atmosphere. It was an exceptional time, and I'm definitely coming back from it as a different person. I'll be back here again to learn more," he wrote. Despite the defeat, Gamrot's statement carried a tone of gratitude and growth. He acknowledged the challenge, praised Oliveira for his performance, and showed nothing but respect for the Brazilian crowd that welcomed him. For Gamrot, this moment isn't the end, but another step in his journey toward the top of the division. Fans flooded the comments with support, recognizing his warrior spirit and heart. The energy around the fight was electric, and even in loss, Gamrot managed to earn respect from the MMA community. With this attitude, it's clear he's already focused on coming back stronger and more prepared for the next challenge. Moving on to another news, Jiri Prochazka has shared his honest thoughts on what he saw from Magomed Ankalaev during his fight with Alex Pereira at UFC 320. After Pereira demolished Ankalaev in stunning fashion, many fans were left shocked by the level of dominance on display. It looked like a completely different level of striking, control, and composure. But Jiri, who fought and won on the same night, had a different perspective. He said he felt something was off with Ankalaev. According to Jiri, he didn't look like his usual composed and calculated self inside the cage. Jiri compared the situation to their first fight, where Pereira looked compromised. Back then, Pereira was dealing with an injured hand, a brutal weight cut, and other issues. But this time, Jiri felt like the roles were reversed. He believed Ankalaev wasn't at 100% physically or mentally. Meanwhile, Jiri himself got the win that night over Khalil Roundtree, but it wasn't the most dominant performance of his career. He was getting touched up early, forced to dig deep, and only turned things around late in the fight to secure the victory. With that, that, the title picture at light heavyweight is starting to look very interesting. Carlos Ulberg is emerging as the front runner for the next shot at Pereira. With the streak he's been on and how dominant he's looked, many believe it's only a matter of time before he gets his chance at gold. The MMA community is also hoping Pereira stays at 215 for at least one more title defense before making any move to heavyweight. A potential matchup with John Jones would be massive, but it would also signal that Pereira could be nearing the end of his incredible run. Speaking about Ankalaev, Jiri went deeper into what he saw. I didn't see him train too much at the Pi, but I saw him before the fight and in the fight. When I watched him, he was catching himself, stepping back, taking small steps back. Then I saw he's not right. Something's wrong. He was so careful, not like last time. Before, he was going forward, up and down, changing levels with self-confidence. But this time, it was different, Jiri explained. He was not the same person I saw before. It was like he was holding something back, maybe because of the injury or something else. But this wasn't the Ankalaev I expected to see in a title fight. His words echoed what many fans had already been discussing. Reports suggested Ankalaev had suffered a rib injury heading into the fight. Whether or not that fully explains his performance remains unknown. But one thing is clear, Pereira took advantage of the situation and delivered a dominant win to keep his belt. Moving on to another news, Dan Hooker just went off on Arman in a fiery rant ahead of their UFC Qatar showdown, calling him a spoiled rich kid who badly underestimates him. The tension between these two has been building fast, especially since Dana White confirmed this fight will determine the next lightweight title challenger. Hooker made it clear that he's not here to be anyone's stepping stone, and he believes Arman's attitude will cost him the moment they step into the cage. At the same time, the lightweight title picture is starting to take shape. Justin Gaethje seems closer than ever to locking in that fight with Ilia, even though for weeks it looked like Paddy Pimblett would be next in line. Arman himself admitted that he thought the UFC might book Ilia versus Paddy, but for now, nothing is official. The promotion could also try to elevate Ilia's name by pairing him with a veteran at the end of his career. Meanwhile, Hooker suddenly finds himself in a position no one expected. If he pulls off the upset over Arman, he could throw himself right back into title contention, something that hasn't been mentioned for a long time. Then came Hooker's raw words. "I think he's a prick," Hooker said. "Like he's just been chiming at me since he first got in the UFC, and I'm just not one to stay quiet. I'll chime back, you know. He just discredits me as a fighter. He says I turn him down, that I've been running away from him and stuff like this. So he's been carrying on for all these years. Now I've chimed back, and I'm not one to mince my words when I'm talking back to someone." Hooker didn't stop there. "I kind of think he's a spoiled little rich kid that's had everything handed to him," he added. "I'm the complete opposite of that. I've taken everything that I have. I've worked hard. I've come out of nothing. So I'd just love to rub it in his face, really." With fire in his voice, Hooker ended his rant with a cold line. "Money can't help you beat Dan Hooker. That's what I want to prove. Money can't help you beat me. The bad blood is real, and with a title shot on the line, this fight has all the ingredients for a war." Moving on to another news, Charles Oliveira has once again shown his big heart outside the octagon. Just 2 days after his impressive win over Mateus Gamrot at UFC Rio, Oliveira hosted a massive celebration in his hometown of Guarujá, Brazil. The event wasn't just about celebrating his victory, it was about giving back to the community that raised him. Families from the local area gathered in excitement as Oliveira handed out free food and toys to children, creating smiles and laughter all around. The music played in the background as Oliveira walked through the crowd, greeting fans and showing love to everyone who came out. His energy was warm, humble, and genuine. A voice called out, "Hey babe, I see you," as people cheered and recorded on their phones. Cameras captured Primo vlogging the moment as Oliveira stood in the middle of the celebration with that signature smile. This wasn't just a victory party. It was a moment that reflected the same generosity, heart, and spirit that have made Oliveira one of the most beloved figures in MMA. A champion not just inside the cage, but outside of it too, giving back where it matters most. Moving on to another news, Ilia just shook the MMA world with his latest comments, and it's left fans genuinely concerned about what might come next. In a recent interview with Spanish influencer David Martinez, the undefeated champion opened up about his future in a way that felt raw and real. Instead of the usual fire and energy, Ilia sounded reflective, almost like a man at a crossroads in his career. When asked what his next move would be, many expected him to call out names like Paddy Pimblett or Arman, fighters who could bring buzz and keep the hype alive. But Ilia took a completely different route, expressing how hard it's becoming to find new challenges that truly excite him. He's been open for a long time about wanting to make history, chasing unprecedented goals. After conquering featherweight and lightweight, his next target was a move to welterweight to chase a third belt. That would be something no one has ever done before in the UFC. But with Dana White shutting down that plan publicly, and Ilia continuing to push for it in interview after interview, it's clear that defending the lightweight belt doesn't bring him the same fire anymore. Especially after his dominant first-round finish over Charles Oliveira, there doesn't seem to be an opponent left who really excites him. What makes this even more real is that Ilia has always been vocal about his long-term plan to retire by the age of 30. He's said it in multiple interviews, and he's never wavered. His mindset has always been to go out on top, just like Khabib, GSP, or John Jones. Fighters who walked away while they were still at the peak of their powers. And with how dominant he's been, Ilia might actually follow through on that promise. The clock is ticking, and the pressure is starting to show in his words. In the interview, Ilia said, "So now I had a goal of conquering the lightweight division, and I did that. At this point, I don't know, man. I really don't. I'll go with whatever still brings me some joy, but that's getting harder to find." When your dream is to become a world champion and you finally get there, then you move up, set a new challenge, and conquer that too. It starts to feel like, what's left? What's the point of going on? I'm at a place where I have to force myself to come up with reasons to stay in the game. And when that starts happening, you can feel it. So, honestly, I don't know what tomorrow holds. Those words didn't sound like hype or some scripted buildup. They carried the weight of someone who knows he's already achieved greatness, but also understands how dangerous it can be to stay in the sport when the hunger fades. Ilia's rivalry with Islam Makhachev has been building, and many saw that as the next big fight. But now with these comments, it's clear Ilia's future is not guaranteed. If the UFC doesn't give him the kind of challenge he craves, he might simply choose to walk away. Moving on to another news, Dana White has officially reacted to Ilia's retirement talk, and it's causing major waves behind the scenes. Spanish media figure Legospi, who's close to Ilia and known for that hilariously awkward interview with Max Holloway, just dropped a huge update. According to him, things between Ilia and the UFC have become tense. Over the last few weeks, Ilia has repeatedly expressed frustration, openly saying he's losing the fire and love for the game. A big reason behind this seems to be his dream matchups falling apart one by one. First, the fight with Islam didn't happen, and now the highly anticipated matchup with Paddy Pimblett is stuck with no clear direction. Not long ago, Ilia told the Nelk boys that he was so determined to avoid fighting Arman that he'd rather vacate the lightweight title than face him. That comment set off alarms inside the UFC. According to Legospi, Dana and the matchmakers didn't take Ilia's words lightly. Dana, in particular, has always hated when fighters bounce between divisions or make public threats to walk away. But this situation is different. He's reportedly concerned Ilia might actually step away or burn out if things don't go his way. Behind closed doors, talks have already started about allowing Ilia to move up to welterweight. The idea being floated is for him to face the winner of Islam versus JDM. It's not the kind of move Dana likes making. He usually stands firm against fighters jumping weight classes just to get their way. But Ilia isn't just any fighter. His star power has grown massively, and the risk of losing him altogether is too big to ignore. Reports say Dana is not happy. The matchmakers are scrambling, trying to figure out how to keep Ilia engaged and motivated, while also maintaining some control over matchmaking. For Ilia, the clock is ticking and patience is running thin. His frustration isn't just talk anymore. It's real, and the pressure is now on the UFC to act before it's too late. Quote, Ilia's talk about retiring triggered a strong reaction inside the UFC. Dana and the matchmakers didn't like it at all. Dana, in particular, hates when fighters jump weight classes or talk about walking away. But in this case, he's seriously concerned Ilia might burn out or step away. That's why behind closed doors, they've started discussing a potential move to welterweight. The plan is for Ilia to face the winner of Islam versus JDM. Dana doesn't like making exceptions, but with Ilia's star power and the risk of losing him, he's willing to bend, end quote. Moving on to another news, Alexander Volkanovski and JDM recently linked up with WWE legend Triple H in a moment that had fans buzzing. The meeting took place in Miami back in April, and the energy was nothing short of electric. As the camera rolled, Volkanovski walked in with his trademark smile, exchanging a warm handshake with Triple H. "How you doing?" he said confidently. Triple H responded with a grin. "Yeah, good. Really good. Really well." The respect between the two was clear from the start. As they continued talking, the vibe was light and fun. Volkanovski mentioned his plans to make it to the event, saying, "I actually want to go there, so I'll probably go out as well." Triple H nodded, the two already imagining the atmosphere they'd be stepping into. Their shared laughter and easy energy made it a wholesome and exciting moment for fans of both MMA and WWE. JDM was also in the mix, keeping things smooth and relaxed, clearly enjoying the crossover vibe. As the music played in the background, the moment captured the blending of two massive worlds, MMA and pro wrestling, with two of the biggest names sharing mutual respect. Moving on to another news, Daniel Cormier has officially had enough of Jose Aldo's endless retirement tours. Aldo first stepped away from MMA back in 2022 after a decision loss to Merab in a fight that could have put him right back into title contention. By 2024, he was back in the cage, picking up an impressive win in his return, only to drop the next two bouts. After a tough loss to Aman Zahabi, Aldo announced his retirement again. Fast forward to this past Saturday at UFC Rio, and for the third time, Aldo stood in the cage and once again declared his retirement from the sport. Reacting to the news on the latest episode of Good Guy, Bad Guy, Cormier didn't hold back. He said he's done getting emotional over Aldo's repeated retirements and even even joked that if Aldo holds another ceremony, he's throwing something at his TV. Let me say this as a massive fan of Jose Aldo Jr. That is me laying down a foundation for my love for Aldo, Cormier began. I'm over it like that. Just this, I'm done with it. I'm done with it. I'm done with it. He recalled the first time Aldo retired at the Hall of Fame, saying, I was emotional. I was emotional watching him walk out to his song, Run This Town by Rihanna. And he was like, oh, this is so good. Going into the Hall of Fame, the stress of all this career is done. I've got money. I've got this. I was like, yes, for this guy. He didn't get out clean because nobody does. But he got out in a way where his legacy is intact. He's still got all of his facilities, or at least it feels that way. But then Aldo returned, fought again, and walked out to that same song in Brazil. It's very emotional, Cormier said. Chill, let me tell you something. I can't get emotional for someone multiple times like that over and over again. So I'm done with it. Chill. Jose, I just want you to be done. If you're done, you're done. Jose, please. I can't watch you. If he walks out in Sao Paulo, if they go to Sao Paulo and he does a retirement ceremony again where he goes and puts his gloves down, I'm throwing something into my TV. I can't do it again. Chill. I can only do that once. I can only do it once or twice. That's it. I can't do it no more. Cormier wrapped it up by saying, it was awesome. Happy you got that moment, Joe. But please, let's be done with the retirement. Jail quickly co-signed the statement, adding, we can move on. We can move on right now.